I look at these conferences and I'm always amazed at how Greg and the team bring together such a good and influential set of speakers, and I have to say today they really have put together a tremendous lineup for us. The mission of the partnership is to accelerate a sustainable shift towards low carbon vehicles and low carbon fuels in the UK, and at the same time generate opportunities for UK business. We do this through cross-sectoral engagement, we do it through influencing government, we do it through influencing research, and we do it through raising knowledge and information.
Transport accounts for about a quarter of emissions from fuel consumption, about 15% of man-made emissions. These two distinctions are often necessary. And the amount of transport emissions is growing. It's growing absolutely and it's growing relatively. The signs are that total global emissions from all sources in 2010 will be the highest ever recorded. And this is also true in transport. There have been, of course, a lot of positive developments in the sense that we have moved forward with CO2 standards in the European Union, in Japan, in US, and China is looking at emissions controls and bringing emissions per vehicle down.
The targets that we think are worthy of serious effort is this. It's to achieve a 30% reduction by 2020 compared to 2005 in all new cars in OECD countries, 50% by 2030 in all new cars globally. Another important point is that we cannot rely on technology alone. And you only need to look at the difference between the USA and Europe, for instance, where you look at the size of vehicles, the engine sizes and so on. The same technologies apply in both markets, but you get France on the one hand, you get US on the other, and what's the difference? Well, the difference is a policy framework with incentives and legislation that points the industry and consumers in a completely different direction. What countries like the UK should be doing is I think there's a huge opportunity to be a leader in technology, to demonstrate progress and what can be achieved through good policies, through good technologies.
A lot of things are actually occurring in the United States, and so one of the primary messages that I want to leave with you is that the U.S., the issue of CO2 and fuel economy in our passenger vehicle fleet is quite dramatically changing. With $4 a gallon gasoline, politics, the market, the very economic structure of the auto industry has quite dramatically shifted. I think everybody's very familiar with Alan Mulally and Ford, who really kind of reshaped Ford's strategy. And Ford moved away from dependency on sport utility vehicles and started to look towards efficiency as being a critical aspect of its competitiveness. And he's looking like the smartest guy in the room right now.
Go so far with conventional vehicle efficiency, but you hit the wall at some point, and for us that's around about 70 grams per kilometre on average, so you cannot decarbonise transport through conventional vehicles. Second thing is biofuels. Well, we cannot be planning to have abundant use of biofuels in surface transport given sustainability concerns. Third thing is, well, we think at the moment, looking at the technical and the economic analysis, electric vehicles are probably the most promising option to decarbonise surface transport. We're not ruling out there that we would have a role for hydrogen. Certainly we should be developing hydrogen technology, but for us, electric vehicles look more promising.
The picture is more people, more cars. Something like 1 billion vehicles at the moment, could go up to 2 billion vehicles by 2020. But the most important thing, I think, is bringing this all together in terms of integrated planning. One single transport mode will not do it. whether it's low carbon vehicles, whether it's public transport, whether it's walking, they all need to come together, they all need to work together. And I think there are many cities and areas that are doing good things in one area. It's doing them across the whole of transport that's important.
Between roughly 2005 and 2030, the number of vehicles is going to double on the planet, going from roughly 850 million to more than 1.5 billion. All in the UK, if all the vehicles were driving on green tires, about 8 million tons of CO2 could be saved. So by switching everybody to green tire, you have an instant effect of 3 million zero-emission vehicles on the road just like that.
This year we've run a second technology challenge, this time focused on HGVs, which is intended to identify the most promising technologies for improving fuel efficiency. Another important part of our work has been to encourage industry to make responsible green claims about the vehicles that they're bringing to market. If we want to move forward and really decarbonise transport, we not only need to decarbonise our electricity grids, but we also have to decarbonise the ways in which our vehicles are manufactured by using light, low-weight materials, and also by making sure that the batteries and other components are manufactured in a low-carbon way. One of my proudest achievements in the last year is that actually in the last 12 months, LowCVP has managed to save its millionth tonne of carbon since it was set up in 2003.
So the question is decarbonising power to 2020 and beyond. That's the question. I put it to you that the answer is electricity.
Do you see the life of the market for pure electric vehicles being limited, and as much as we will find other technologies such as very highly efficient range extender engines which will allow us to halve the size of the battery?
There'll always be a market for pure electric vehicles for the reasons that I've given. And of course, a range extender does make a lot of sense. The issue with a range extender, it's another motor, it's additional cost, so it's basically additional complexity, and you will pay for that.
I think this conference has highlighted both the enormous challenges but also the great opportunity that is out there to decarbonise transport. But as Jack Short suggested this morning, the current forecasts are that transport emissions are going to double by 2050. But as David Kennedy told us, well, if we allow that to happen, then we are on a path to dangerous climate change.